So I got my husband this, which if you can't read it in the back, it says vasectomy, sterilization for men. And it has just turned out to be the gift that just keeps on giving. And it was really, I didn't think it through very long, I have to say. I picked it right out, but I got it for him, and it was about a year ago. It was like the first week of December, and in Maine it starts to snow early as well as it does here. And we had the procedure all set up, we had the appointment, and the day of the procedure, the nurse calls me up and she said, "Karen, you know, it's starting to snow. I think they're going to close the road, so we may have to reschedule your procedure." And I said, "Oh no. Oh no, you're not, because see, he already took the Valium, and he thinks he is going to the zoo. So we're going to be right there." So we got there, and it was really, really nice because they stayed open for us. They sent everybody else home, you know, just the doctor and the nurse stayed open for just us, which was really kind of cool. So we went in there, and it was holiday time. They had the holiday music playing, which is kind of too loud because we were the only people in the office. And the doctor started, and let me just tell you, I went back there to watch for many more reasons than one. And so we go back into the room, and the doctor's working on my husband, and at one point he has a cauterization tool, and there's some smoke kind of wafted over an area. I don't think most men want smoke to be wafted above, and the doctor at this point leans over at me and said, "Oh, have you heard any jokes lately?" And my husband looks at me like, "If you answer this question, I'm going to kill you." And so I said, "No," but I listened to the Christmas music behind me, and it was not chestnuts roasting over a hot open fire. But in my mind, I said, that would be a really funny joke. Funny. So I said, no, I haven't, but you know what? I have to tell you, Dr. Melton, that I got to thank you for your brochure, because it has just been a source of complete and total entertainment for me and my friends. Because it's kind of like a little storybook, actually. It's a very entertaining brochure. It's like a storybook. It starts, the cover of our story starts out, here's the gentleman, and he's conferring with the doctor, and what they don't show you in this particular illustration is the wife. She's sitting right here, and she says, "Yes, we will have the procedure." And occasionally you also don't see her hand, which is behind the husband's head, going, "Yes, we will have the procedure." And then our story begins on this page, and this is kind of cool, because in this picture they show the wife, you know, there, you know, like it was a consultation, like it might not happen, because it was gonna, they got that far. Then we have our couple. This is how it starts. Our couple is sitting together on a futon. Why, at this point in their lives, they still own a futon is kind of unclear. So it's kind of like a little mystery book. And she says to him, "Honey, I love you so much, but you are never getting in my pants ever again if you don't get yourself fixed." So then they make an appointment, and then we have some diagrams. Some are happy and some are sad. And then I just go to this page, which is kind of cool, because now they've made the appointment, and she's got her hand on his shoulder. She's being so supportive. She said, "Honey, I love you so much. You're going to love the zoo. They have monkeys and zebras, and don't mind the fact that I just packed a jockstrap in your bag to go there." And so then they get to the doctor's office. At this point, I think he realizes that he's in trouble, because he's shaking the doctor's hand, and he actually looks frightened. I love the fact that they've drawn him in here scared. And then the wife's being supportive. She's kind of pushing him with her hip bone through the doorway of the procedure area. Then chronologically, at this point in our story, we should have an illustration of the doctor, you know, doing the procedure, but they don't have one, and my theory is they were unable to draw the smoke. So they just left that one out altogether. This is a great chapter. This is called Healing, and here we have Dad on the futon in sofa position, And they've got the little child, the little boys bringing Daddy some juice, and myself, I'm like, what are they telling their child? What's wrong with Daddy? That would be you, evidently. So, yep, that's his fault. And then what they don't show in this picture also is that under the blanket that's across Daddy's knees there's some frozen peas. And if you give this gift, you have to give along frozen peas to go with it, or at least a coupon for frozen peas. Frozen corn would work, any kind of small granulated frozen vegetable. Carrots don't work really well. In our house, we chose peas, and for the longest time, we had this big giant bag of frozen peas in our freezer, and no one eats peas in my house. And during the holiday party, Seabiscuit comes out with the peas on his head and says, "My head hurts just like Daddy's tally." Tally being the southern technical term for tallywhacker, which is penis in the South, as opposed to the southern technical term for vagina, which is hoo-hoo. So we're healing, and at this point, this is a great chapter. I kind of like this chapter. It's called Sex After the Vasectomy, and here we have our happy couple back on the futon, now in bed position. Evidently, they just own the one piece of furniture. I don't know where the children sleep. And this is kind of cool because they have this lady with a microscope. And this is another thing they did not tell me, and I'll share this with you. They don't tell you that after this is all over, you have to do this sort of sampling. Okay, so there's sampling involved. And you have to take the sample from where the sample comes from, and then you have to get it to this nice lady's microscope, and then you have 1 hour from getting the sample to taking the sample to this lady's microscope. And so you have to kind of figure out how far away you live from the doctor's office as to whether or not there's going to be some sampling at home or there's going to be pornography at the McDonald's drive-thru. And, you know, we live 20 minutes from the doctor's office. I thought, you know, we're cool. We'll sample at home and just head on out. So we sampled at home. We had a cup and a bag. Here we go. Well, we weren't counting on road construction. So we sat there, and the window is closing. The window is closing. I'm thinking, I am not going through that horror show ever again. So we get out of the road construction, and at this point, I started speeding. And let me just say, if you go 45 miles an hour in the 25-mile-an-hour zone in Cumberland, Maine, and you get pulled over by the police, let's just say, and you hold up a little paper bag with a cup in it, and you tell them what is in that, he will let you go. And now I just carry that bag with me everywhere. No one's asked to look inside. So then we have other birth control methods. Why I need this at this point in my life, don't need it. So we've passed that page. The very last page is really awesome because this is the end of the story where the entire family gets to go camping. And here we have little Johnny and little Susie out by the Coleman lantern, and Mommy and Daddy are in the tent screwing their brains out.